Just you and I together should do a billboard. Over 70 and magnificent. I mean, you are absolutely like you could be my double, my sister.
Over so far away.
Look how
you're not in the
beautiful.
thing. You're
She's
not in the
really
picture.
beautiful.
Okay, so hold on, Tina. We're going to do like our little intro for everybody, and then we'll get going. All right, everybody. Now on the Jimmy Star Show, we want to welcome the fabulously talented, gorgeous Tina Sloan. Hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Before we get started, let me introduce, first of all, my husband and the cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
Hi, darling. If I was straight, I would find you. And I would date you, and I would make love to you and probably marry you because you're so beautiful.
Thank you so much. You better watch out.
Wait, I'm not lying about this because, gay men, we're not looking to get LA, the other. We're not looking for sex. We just tell it like it is. When Jimmy showed me your picture and told me your age, I said, oh, my God, I'm 76 years old.
When's your birthday?
May 28th, 1940. And no one believes that I'm 70.
I don't know that everybody wants to know, though. She wants everybody to know
No,
how
I'm not
old
going
she
to
is.
give her age away.
I don't care. I tell everybody. I don't care.
Okay, good. Okay.
How old are you?
I'm 73, February 1st, 1943.
Is she not
She's like
gorgeous?
the hottest, like,
Everybody out there, all you old broads,
That's the way you need to look.
wait a minute, that got fat, got sloppy, let your hair grow in, and you got a shitty haircut. Look at this woman. You can look like this if you, and like
Take
me,
care of yourself.
for 76, look at me. I brag about myself.
You are fabulous.
People think I'm 50, 55 years old. Nobody, and my energy level and my whole persona.
Uh-huh.
And you too, you are really.
Why one of these matching shirts because I'm so cute?
Absolutely. We have to get you one.
No, we got them and we wore them. I forgot why on a show a couple of weeks ago, but our cameras weren't working somewhere in the world, so people couldn't see it.
So we're wearing it again because everybody can see us.
We promised them that we would wear our matching shirts. Of
You're
course,
fabulous.
Thank you.
for your show it doesn't make sense, but for the show we did weeks ago, it did.
Hold on. We have to finish. Okay, so now we have the man behind the boards, Mr. Chad Murphy.
Tina Sloan, turning gay men straight. I love it. Welcome to the show.
Yes, I'm sure she's done many on soap operas because half of them. I dated a guy that was a soap opera
Okay,
actor.
hang on. Then we've got a chat room full of people, so say hello to everybody in the chat room.
Hi, chat room.
There you go. And then I want you to do a special shout out because all the Venice people are going to be watching this afterwards if they're not watching now. So just say, hey, everybody.
Oh, Venice people.
There you go. Hello, because they're all fabulous
Love Venice people.
and they're the ones who were telling me that I have to get you on the show. It'll be the greatest show ever. That you're such a super talent. So I just want to make sure we give them all props because they're terrific. So hello and welcome to the show. We're happy to have you.
Can I tell you my story about a gay guy that I worked with on a soap who was the handsomest man on earth? And it was in 1970, maybe 68, 69. His name was Joel Crothers. And I didn't know he was gay. Nobody knew anybody was gay in those days.
That's
And
right. Even I'm old.
we're making out madly, and my heart is pounding because he's so gorgeous, and I just was madly in love with him. I guess it was, I don't know what year. And all of a sudden he whispers in my ear, Tina, you're the first woman who has ever made me hard.
Wow.
I didn't know what he meant.
You gotta.
You didn't know what he meant. Because, sure, you made a lot of men hard, and you figure, what the hell is he bragging about?
But I didn't know what he meant with the first woman. I walked away and I went, what was that about? And then it dawned on me.
Well, I dated Casey Michaels.
Yeah.
Casey was a soap opera guy. Wait, I was like 16, 17. He was maybe 30, 35. And he was on The Young and the, I think, Restless. I forgot which one he was on. And he was gorgeous, and nobody knew he was gay either. He was very, very closeted about that. But everybody really knew because I guess they just, because, if you're not with women, you don't go out with girls,
Or if you're working with them every day.
And then, what is he doing running around with a 16-year-old pretty boy?
Actually, too, I don't know if you know, if you know Ian Buchanan, he's on,
Love him.
what is Ian Buchanan on? He was on General Hospital for many years, and he won his Emmy for I think he was on Guiding Light. Was
You
he?
have
No.
to know
No?
who he is. He's gorgeous. He's gray hair.
I'll
He is.
look him
Oh
up.
yeah, you know who he is.
Anyway, so we were so excited though, because like I invited him on the show, but I didn't know he was out, so I didn't know he would like talk about it. And then he started talking about his boyfriend and everything, and then we just, became fast friends because it was so cool. But he is probably like one of the most handsome, distinguished,
Good-looking.
older gentlemen like on the planet. He's so fabulously good looking. Oh, that's good. Do that. That was good because now we see you perfect. Look at the beautiful green outfit.
You, what's his name? Ian and myself, Buchanan, are good examples of what the human being can do to stay attractive as we grow older. I see so many people my age who I've known since I'm a kid who didn't do it. And I could feel like sometimes they're my father or mother. It's amazing. And my mother was beautiful, by the way. My mother would never allow herself to grow old. My mother died 80 years old, and she was a tomato, as we used to call her. Always a Lamborghini. That was the other word for her. I just think that everybody should look at you, and if they don't get inspired, I mean, the hair, the makeup, the smile. I don't care if you've had 100 facelifts, you're full.
None. Zero.
Zero. So you're like me. We have the genes.
I think that's it. I remember I was sitting next to Jodie Foster, who I was in awe of, and I was doing a movie with her. And the hairdresser or the makeup artist said, "Oh, you haven't had any facelifts because they can tell, they can see."
Scars behind the ears.
And Jodie got out of the makeup chair and came over and said, "Thank you. We need you, people like you, ahead of us."
It's true.
Which is fabulous.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Because, we have too many bad examples.
Oh, yes.
You know that.
Okay, hold on.
Go to the mall.
Wait, I want to like tie this into a little pitch then.
Well, we're
real
going to
quick.
keep her on till closing. So
It's okay. It's okay.
She's on for an hour. This
she's-
one ain't
no.
going away. She's not going away.
So she just talking about growing older though. She did a memoir. It's called Changing Shoes. It's a book and it's also a play. And the concept is going from sexy high heels to black flats as we change and grow older. And it's a play that you've done across the country for the last 6 years. So tell us a little bit about the book real quick.
Well, it's really funny. I mean, it's sad and funny. It talks about things like our parents getting older and dying, and how we manage that. And but it also talks about being a soap actress, and at the age of 40, I'm almost a grandmother by the time, then a great grandmother at 50, and a great great grandmother at 60.
God bless.
How you deal with this? How you make the most of it and not let it bother you. I mean, there were times when it bothered me, but I didn't let it hold me back.
Now, it couldn't possibly bother you because you have a mirror. I mean, how dare you say it bothers you? Do you look in that mirror often?
But you see, you get the lines, and my line that day is, "Where's Beth, my daughter? Where's Beth? Where's Beth?" And it wasn't about me anymore. It was about them and other people, and that was depressing. Then I got over it.
The only other woman who was my best, dearest friend in the world, close friend, was Jane Russell, the movie star.
God, was she fabulous.
Jane died 89 years old. Now, she slept in my house a million times. In the morning, got up and with her scuffy shoes and her crazy robes, hair hanging, not a drop of makeup. We'd sit in the breakfast room where the sun came in.
Right?
And I would look at her and I'd say, "You old bag, you don't have any lines or wrinkles. What do you got in your face?" This is, what my ritual. She said, "The only thing I ever did was I put in threads and they all snapped." So I said, "Janie Poo, you look fat." She was absolutely gorgeous, just like you, because she had cheekbones.
Yeah.
Women with high cheekbones hold up very well. Frying pan faces don't. Everything slides down. Jane had a big nose. She had big chin, big cheekbones, and it held her up. And she was another great beauty. Great beauty. I mean, so is Arlene Dahl. I interviewed Arlene. You know who Arlene Dahl is? Sure. I mean, she's still stunning, and she's 80-something. I did Tippi Hedren, another one that's
Actually, she did a
83.
movie.
The Birds, Tippi Hedren.
Yeah,
Yes.
my Tippi. Tip's good.
Wow.
That's good. That's my honey. Tip's
One
good.
of the greatest beauties of all time.
And you did a movie with Melanie Griffith, or maybe even more than one movie with Melanie Griffith is in one of the movies that you did. I don't know if you actually worked with.
One of Woody Allen's, you mean?
Yeah.
Woody Allen. Yeah, she was. I didn't have a scene with her.
Right.
I actually did a list. I want to do this. I like to do this thing where I like brag on our guests because guests are always like Well, for the most part, most of our guests who've accomplished a lot and had great roles and stuff, they won't really brag for themselves. So I like to do it for you. So I made a quick list of people who you've worked with. Whether you were in scenes or not, I don't know, but you were in the movies with these people. And so I made a quick list, and that way everybody listening, if they don't know who you are, they're going to be like, oh, my God, holy shit, what an awesome chick.
And a great-great-grandmother.
So
I
here
can't
it is.
believe
So
that.
first of all, I have to say Alan Dale is one of my favorite actors in life.
Oh, he was my husband. We worked very closely.
I love him to death ever since he was on the OC. Like, I didn't know who he was before that, but like I love Alan Dale, so I put him on the list. But I got Mila Kunis, Crystal Chappell. I have to bring in all those Venice people.
Crystal Chappell.
Chappell.
We love her.
We love her.
She's
She's fabulous.
been on our show, and we love her. In fact, she's coming.
She's amazing.
Crystal Chappell,
Yeah.
Winona Ryder, Barbara Hershey, Natalie Portman. That's you get a lot of perks for being in Black Swan.
Yeah, I sure did.
Then I had Christina Anapau, and the reason I put her, a lot of people don't know who she is, but she was in True Blood, and she's been on our show, so I had to make sure I brought her in because she's fabulous. Sebastian Stan, which everybody, like, he's the guy in Captain America. He's Bucky in all the, like, Avengers movies now. He, like, went from, like, a nobody to, like, superstar over a great body of work. Michael Sabatino, which I brought him in because he's from Fitness.
He's he's embezzling money from me right now.
Yes, on. And then we have Dot Marie Jones, who we love to death from Glee, and she was on our show also, so I had to bring her in. She's also in Venice, the series. Jodie Foster, Terrence Howard, which I love Empire. He's fabulous. Al Pacino, Tia Leone, Ryan O'Neal, Kim Basinger, Heather Graham, Marissa Tomei, Ben Affleck, who you played his mother-in-law in Chasing Lanes, Samuel Jackson, Toni Collette, Sidney Pollack, Richard Jenkins, Amanda Peet, William Hurt, Helen Hunt, Dan Aykroyd, Charlize Theron, Melanie Griffith, and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Wow.
Wow.
That
I
is-
was wowing that one.
There's a zillion more, but those are like the ones that like everybody knows who these people are. They're so
That's
fabulously
some
huge.
hit list, boy. Wow.
I'm gonna tell you, can I tell you the Natalie Portman story in
Yeah.
Black Swan?
I love
You want?
her.
Yes,
Okay.
love her.
Love her.
So I go to, and we're going to work all night long. And I go and sit between Winona Ryder and Natalie Portman, and they're studying their scripts. And, I just have a few lines, so I'm not a big deal. So I sat down, I said, hi, and they both said hello, and were very polite. And I thought, well, do I pull it out? And I thought, I'm going to. And I said, my son is Rennie McPherson. And Natalie jumps out of her chair because they've been in school together and have been great friends at Harvard. And all of a sudden, I was part of the group. I mean, she watched out for me. It's amazing when you're not doing it for your children. All of a sudden, your children are doing it for you.
How awesome
You know?
is that?
Absolutely. My daughter's an actress, and I'm waiting for the day when they say, "Oh, you're Deirdre Sorrego's son, father." When that day happens, because unfortunately, I had a TV show in California in Time Warner for a long time called Set the Record Straight, where I invited all the great legends of Hollywood to come on my TV show and set the record straight. What was said about you that's not true. And of course, my first show was with my buddy Jane Russell. And the question to her was, Jane, what size bra were you in 1940? Because she had to think about this. She said, 36B. I said, so you're not a 44 double D? She said, no. That's what they write about me. I'm a 44. She said, that's a cow.
It's true.
And then, everybody came on and they all talked about what was wrong. Now, Arlene Dahl was, and I know Arlene, so I got a good interview out of her. Hers was good because I said, Arlene, is it true when you were married to Lex Barker that he was raping Lana Turner's daughter while married to Lana Turner, Cheryl Crane, when she was 10 years old?
Good God.
Yes, and it is true because I know Cheryl very well. Cheryl's a good buddy of mine in Palm Springs. And Arlene said, absolutely not. It's a lie. Lex Barker had a package so large, had he ever entered a 10-year-old, he would have killed her. So guess what they used for my commercial?
That's the line they used.
That clip.
They used a clip of that.
So everybody thought it was like a hotsy-totsy show, which it really wasn't. But most of the celebrities, unfortunate, because I have all my shows now on YouTube, nobody knows who they are.
Because
Breaks my heart. I read an article 2 weeks ago on Facebook from Al Pacino and
No,
Robert De Niro, and they said nobody knows who we are anymore.
Wow.
Is that something? The young in Europe, they know everybody forever. They know Magnani. They still know young 20-year-olds know Anna Magnani. In this country,
No.
it's so disposable. That's my question to you. How do you feel about being disposable in this country after a lifetime of work?
Well, I'm still working, so I'm not letting myself be disposed of
Right.
and you're not either, either of you.
No, no,
You know,
no.
you're
I
still
don't mean it
in the game.
personally. I meant in general. I should have clarified that.
Okay.
The disposable thing, like not knowing who.
We have people that don't know who Barbara Streisand was.
I do lectures. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, listen to this. I'm not lying. I do lectures, and I talk to these college kids. I go around and I talk about old films. Because Bob, from TCM, Turner Classic Movies, myself, we all work on keeping film alive. Lauren Bacall, and I say this every week, and I keep saying it. Lauren Bacall said to me, Ron, a film is only old after you've seen it. And that's my motto. So I'm talking,
great.
and I see this this young man in front of me, totally bewildered when I'm talking about Barbara Streisand being a 3-time winner, a producer, a writer, and this actress.
Right.
And I said to him, "Do you know who Barbara Streisand is?" And he said, "I've heard of her." He's heard of her. And I didn't know what to say. I just stood there in amazement. I wanted to smack him. I did. I wanted to smack him and say, "You stupid idiot. Pull your head out of the goddamn computer. Take off the earphones with that crappy rap music and learn a little bit. Theater, art, music, acting is an art. It's like history. And you should learn Humphrey Bogart, Jean Harlow, Carol Lombard. Learn those people. They bring so much to our lives through film. And so do you. Look at you. You're working weekly. And I know that soaps are tough. How many pages do you get a week?"
I mean, but I think when we're all sort of at a party or something, it can be your birthday party, but everyone who's young is not paying attention to you anymore. I remember that with my parents and my mother's birthday. She was 90. Everyone was talking to everybody else, and she was just sitting there looking, like herself. And I thought that's what happens as you get old, because your friends die who knew you, like Jane Russell. They knew you, you knew them, and it goes away. But when you say the great people aren't remembered, like Streisand, it's appalling, or Carol Lombard, or Clark Gable, or...
No, they all remember Marilyn Monroe. She's the only one that still gets a hit.
I like Cary Grant.
Oh, no, they don't know who Cary Grant is.
I love Cary Grant.
No,
he's like my favorite.
No, I interviewed Terry Moore. Nobody knows who Terry Moore is. Come on, do you know who Terry Moore is? Of course you do. But Terry said she could walk anywhere in town. I went into a shoe store with Jane Russell because she needed a pair of shoes to go to this big event we were going to in Florida. And the young girl behind the counter was ringing up the shoes. And I said to the girl, "You have no idea who this woman is, do you?" She said, "No." I said, "This is Jane Russell. She's a very famous movie star. She's a legend." And the girl turned around and she said, "Yeah, well, I'm Diana Ross."
Oh, no.
Jane and I almost wet ourselves walking out of that store. She was doubled over, hysterical, laughing. She said, and yet...
Actually, you went someplace with Johnny Mathis, too, and nobody knew who
Nobody
he was.
knew. Oh, I was food shopping with Johnny.
He should have started singing. If he'd sung, they...
No. And we're in the vegetable department, and I thought this lady was kind of looking to see, so I deliberately said, "Oh, Johnny, look at the apples." Nothing. Now we get to the cashier, and I couldn't take it. I mean, this is friggin' Johnny Mathis, the greatest singer in the world, and I love him to death. I kiss him to death when I'm with him. Anyway, we're at the register, and I said to the boy, "Do you know who this man is?" He said, "No." I said, "This is Johnny Mathis." He said, "How do you do, Mr. Mathis?" He had no idea. So Johnny turned to me, and he said, "I told you."
But if he'd let out a few verses, I wonder if that would have rung a bell.
I doubt it.
Lullabies when they were young, these kids.
I doubt it. Only my kids know, chances are, and things like that.
I have to say, though, because like Ron and I we've been married for 4 years, or been together for 4 years, and I had never watched Turner Classic Movies ever before I met Ron.
Are you kidding?
And I'm 51. I knew who Cary Grant was. I knew who like the really big names were, but I didn't know who some of the other ones were. And I never watched it because I don't like to watch stuff in black and white. And now I've seen everything. I know now I've seen every movie that comes on because we watch it all the time, and I've really been educated. But I had the same terrible mentality that I think young people today have also, and I don't think I had an appreciation for it before I met Ron. Now I have a great appreciation for it, and we have fabulous guests on the show like you who've had these incredible careers and stuff.
Have you never seen like Casablanca before you met Ron?
Never.
Actually, Casablanca, I have to say, okay, here's a story. I was in Killington, Vermont with all my college friends and their girlfriends.
Yes.
And skiing, and one of my friend's girlfriend and Best of the Best had just come out on video, and
Right.
one of my best friends' girlfriend wanted to see Casablanca, so we went to the video store, and everybody wanted to see Best of the Best but her, and so we ended up getting Casablanca and watching it, and I didn't watch it. I rebelled against it. I was so pissed that we couldn't see Best of the Best, that which is like a stupid karate movie with
Which
Eric
is
Roberts.
what they want.
I'm
I'm proud to say.
Hang on, wait, let me finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
and
that
so
story was over.
so like I never have saw it until I actually got together with Ron, and now my favorite movie is it North by Northwest or South by Southwest?
North by
Northwest. I love that movie.
Eva Saint and Cary Grant.
Cary Grant.
I'm very proud to say that the fabulous, immortal Bette Davis and I knew each other quite well. I knew Betty in her very old years. Betty and I went to La Moustache in West Hollywood, if you remember when it was there. I forgot where it was. And Betty had on a sailor hat upside down, big sunglasses, no lipstick, and a sort of a trench jacket. And we went into lunch, and we were fine with lunch, and we were having lunch. And it's primarily a gay restaurant. There had to be maybe 30 gay guys in the restaurant and some straight people. And
some straight people.
and we got away with murder. And I said to Betty, well, at least nobody recognizes you. She said, honey, they expect me to look like Bette Davis. So did one of my husbands, she said, on the screen.
Uh-huh.
Merrill, David Merrill, wanted her as she was in All About Eve.
Right? Oh, God, yes.
But that's not who Betty is. Betty is she wore horrible clothes, sneakers. Betty never wore makeup. Betty was, well, she called herself a New Hampshire kind of a woman. She was rough and tough with a filthy mouth. Not the lady that she is, like, why ask for the moon, weave the stars, darling. She would have said, give me a fucking cigarette, in her real world. So everything is going fine. And then she puts on her lipstick after her coffee. And she turned around and she said, more coffee, please, with that voice. And every gay guy jumped up and said, and they were all screaming and running over to her and saying, Miss Davis, I love you, I love you. And she was saying, of course you do, of course you do, of course you do. The straight people sat there. And they didn't know who she was.
Can I tell you my Bette Davis story?
Absolutely.
Sure, I love Betty.
A gay friend of mine, John Terry Brown, who's been dead for a long time, was sort of spent time with her when she was very old. And I went to a party and she was there, and I went and I knelt next to her. I said, I'm kneeling before you. And she was just what you said. She just sort of laughed and sort of said, you don't have to kneel here, and was so down to earth. But I could hardly breathe. I was so excited to be kneeling in front of her.
Yeah, well, I got her in the Los Angeles Museum, did Wednesday night films, all the old films.
Right.
And I was in on that. I was part of the staff, and I knew Bette Davis was coming, and I had never met her. It was the first time I was going to meet her. We were running a Now Voyager, and the curator that week said, next week is Bette Davis, but unfortunately we promised you the outtakes of that film. We couldn't get them. I know how disappointed you are, so allow me to present Miss Bette Davis. And with Betty walks on the stage, 2 feet tall, big blue eyes. And she got a lovely ovation. One of the idiots in the Q&A said, Miss Davis, why do you wear such cheesy-looking wigs? Now, I wasn't going to allow that. So Betty said, young man, you're rude. But I'll answer your question. Those wigs happen to cost a lot of money. I'm sorry that you're not pleased with them, but you'll have to move on with your life, sort of. So I came out from the wing, and I said, ladies and gentlemen, may I present Hollywood, Miss Bette Davis, and the respect that she should get. And I said, and for that, Miss Davis, I deserve a kiss. And she kissed me. So that was my introduction to Bette Davis and how I met her. From there, we continued a friendship and a relationship. She was one of the most insane women I've ever met, because she was insane. Hollywood definitely screwed her up. And her famous saying, when I said to her, how does it feel when you go out and most people don't know you? She said, Today's news is tomorrow's toilet paper.
True.
And that's how she felt about it.
Hmm. We know that's
There you
true.
go. Now I want you to talk. I'm talking. It's not my interview. It's yours.
It's a
so
conversation.
it's a yeah. We're not an interview show, by the way. We're a conversation.
Hold
When I talk this way to bring you guys out, to warm you up and get you comfortable. Now I want you to go with it, gorgeous.
Hold on. First, I want to go back, though.
So beautiful.
I want to go
Look
back
at
to
her.
Changing Shoes because we mentioned that you have the book, but like, is the book actually available? Like, can people buy it?
Yeah.
Someplace? Let's do a little
It's
promo.
out in 2009, and it's still selling. But I think the only place to get it now is Amazon. But it's really, I mean, it's hilarious.
So you guys, the name of the book is Changing Shoes. Go to Amazon and get it. And is the play being done anywhere right now? Or
I was supposed to be doing it in Paris right now, and they called me about 2 or 3 months ago, sort of after when things weren't going too well over there, and they said, I think we ought to postpone it for a year because you get 35 people in the theater at a night. And an American play, it might not have even been, there might have been 10 people in it,
Right.
yeah. Well,
So I'm doing it next year.
so when you update it, you'll update it on your website, right? Like you'll let people know.
No, I never updated on my website. I'm very bad about that.
Well, you're not bad on Twitter. Do you run your own Twitter?
Yeah, I do Twitter.
That's so much fun. Well, you guys, if you want to see her website anyway, because it does have some cool stuff, you can go to tinasloan.com. But if you want to be able to get her attention, you can tweet with her. She's at Tina Sloan on Twitter, SLOAN. She's fabulous. That's how I got her to come on the show. She's super great. She responds.
And am I happy she came on? What's your ethnic background?
I'm Irish.
Me too.
See, and I would have said I was thinking German.
I'm adopted, but I'm Irish adopted, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I was thinking you German. She has German features. More than Irish features.
So I want to go about with all your fans. First of all, some of the highlights. You've done a whole bunch of cool stuff, but I wrote down all the things that I've seen. And so I thought we would actually just do another little plug, you guys. So if you want to see some of the roles, whether they're big or little, first of all, you have to watch season 1 through 4 of Venice, the series. The first 2 seasons.
5 right now.
That's right. You're doing 5 now. Season 1 and 2, I think, are on YouTube, and 3 and 4 are on Vimeo or something like that. I'm not sure.
It takes place in Venice, or Venice, Italy.
Venice, California.
Wouldn't it be nice if it was Italy?
Yeah.
Yes, it would. So
I would come along as your some towel boy.
So you can see her in Venice, the series. If you guys were soap opera fans, she was Lillian Raines for 26 years on Guiding Light. She was also on Another World, because my mom watched Another World.
Did she?
Back in the day. And
I was Nobel Prize winning cardiologist on that one.
there you go. You gotta love it.
Yeah, you could be a doctor. I could see with your hair pulled back and glasses.
No, but Ron, they would say to me, I mean, I had to do an operation. I'd say, could I have the spatula? I mean, I just did the worst things, and I just never got it. So they stopped giving me those, those operations. That's for sure.
That's something I would say for sure.
So you guys, you can also see her in Black Swan with Natalie Portman, The Brave One with Jodie Foster, The Guru, which is a hilarious movie with Marissa
That is
Tomei.
hysterical, isn't it?
It's a hysterical movie.
How is Marissa Tomei?
She was very nice, but the one who was lovely, who was the other one in that? The beautiful blonde.
Heather Graham, I think.
Heather Graham was amazingly wonderful. I remember one day I was sitting there looking at her in the mirror. We were both getting our makeup on and talking, and then I looked at myself. And, I was 40 years older than she was, and it was such a stab in the heart. Not vanity, just, wow, what can happen in 40 years, But she was lovely.
She is
Well,
gorgeous.
I hate when they segregate a set. In 1959, I made my first movie at 17 years old with Sophia Loren and Tab Hunter.
Are you kidding me?
No, called That Kind of Woman. And I wasn't allowed to be with Sophia Loren or Tab Hunter, George Saunders, or Barbara Nichols. They had them, their own little area, but I didn't give a shit. And I'm Italian, and I speak Italian, and she didn't speak English well, and she was 26, and I was, 19? And I kept sneaking over and sitting in George Sanders' chair next to her talking Italian. And they kept coming over and saying, Sailor, as I was an extra, get over there. And I'd sneak back. So finally, Sophia got disgusted, and she said to them in her broken English, let him stay here. He's very charming, and I love him. He speaks nicely. Because I was talking to her in Italian.
Good.
Anyway, we struck up some kind of a 3-day friendship in the shoot. And every time we shot in Central Park and Grand Central, and every time there was a shoot that I could sneak in, I snuck in to her. Finally, I said to, and Tab Hunter now is my friend. I've interviewed him, and I know him socially, and I love him. He's one of the nicest people. But on that shoot, I did not like him. Because at
Because
lunch I went to sit next to him because I was in love with him, and and he said to me, "For Christ's sake, can I eat in peace?" And
Oh,
I politely said "F you" to him and got up and walked.
did you really say F you?
Yes, I did, and I'm glad that he didn't report me because they would have thrown me right off the set. We talked about this in later years, and he said I wouldn't do that. He said I'm not mean like that. He said I realized that I was frustrated. Or he didn't even, and then he said to me, I chased a 19-year-old guy away because it's gay. So anyway, I lost the point of the story.
That's
Go.
okay.
Well, I'm loving it anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a great.
They segregate the
They
set.
segregate the set. Now, I think that's horrible because everybody's on that film to make that film beautiful. Even the littlest one line is important in the movie. Don't you agree with that?
Oh, yeah.
Now, they don't segregate you on a set.
I don't think I've ever been segregated.
So you're open. You can go anywhere and talk to whomever you wish.
Well, I mean, I let Jodie Foster come to talk to me. I did chat with Natalie once she realized who my son was. It was her friend.
Right.
I remember that Ben Affleck, Sidney Pollack was my husband, and Amelia Pete was my daughter, and we're sitting around a table, and they're discussing how big their planes are, and I do all the talking, and I remember thinking, if I hadn't been on a soap opera for 20 years, I couldn't pull this off because I was a bit overpowered by these incredible actors, but they're talking about their planes.
So all you had to talk about was your beauty.
Hold on. So I want to
And
go
that
back
was
to that.
plenty. You
So
should have said, you guys have airplanes, but you don't have this face.
But you got to go back. Okay, besides the Guru, you
So
guys,
pretty,
you can
look.
also see Tina Sloan in Chasing Lanes, which we just talked about. Celebrity, which is like a great movie. I mean, there's like a cameo of every major famous person like in the world is in that movie, and People I Know with Al Pacino.
All right, want me to tell you a story about the Woody?
All the stories you can.
I was sitting, you have these little trailers, and I was sitting on my step of my little trailer, speaking of segregating, that
Right.
quietly, and nobody was really talking to me. And all of a sudden, John Kennedy goes skating by. And my stepson and he had been roommates at Brown and in New York and were best friends. And I would go over and have dinner with them or parties or whatever. So he comes along and he picks me up and twirls me around on his skates. After that, everybody wanted to talk to me. Absolutely everybody. It was amazing what it did for my career. I mean, I had all kinds of new friends.
It's sad, but that's what it's all about.
Sure it is. I mean, there's no question about it. I told him that. He said it was his skating. He was going to the dentist, he said, as he was skating away, he said, come on over tonight. And everybody's looking at this,
Right.
30 years older than he was woman and going, huh?
Well, I've gone to many, many, many Hollywood parties, in big homes with big stars, and I was
Right.
always treated more or less like the help. Nobody knew who I was, maybe they figured out whatever. I went to Shelley Winter's 85th birthday party, and I took Jane Russell.
Right.
My God, what a difference. We walked in, the paparazzi went crazy taking pictures of Jane Russell. Who are you? I'm Ron.
And who were you with and who she's with? Yeah.
Wait a minute, listen, I'm Ron Russell. Oh, Jane and her husband are here. We have the same last names, Russell.
That's fabulous.
So we were all over. Everybody came over. Every star in the world was there, by the way, that Shelley worked with, all the big names, and they all came rushing over. And suddenly, I was such an important person. So yeah, it's true.
Okay, hold on. So let's go to. Okay, you also have a web series besides Venice, which I want to talk about Venice a little bit in a second. But you also have another one, Beacon Hill, and I know Crystal Chappelle is in that also.
Yeah, she's behind everything.
I know,
mean,
she's like a
she's
genius.
just amazing.
We are crazy about how we're crazy about you. Where do you live?
When the show was ending, I just moved out of my whole life. I've lived in New York City, and I moved about 3 weeks ago to Chevy Chase, Maryland, where my son and my 2-year-old granddaughter are. What can I say?
Oh, we can't go to lunch. Okay.
No,
but
I live in Florida.
What's that?
I live in Florida.
Oh, you live in Florida. Well, we're moving back to Palm Springs in a couple of months.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, I lived there before. We're in the biz, and you should be in the flow.
Hang on, go back. Okay, so two things. Number one, so just give us a little something about Beacon Hill because I don't really know anything about it. Like, is that something that is it streaming? Where do we see it, or do you know anything about that?
I don't know if it's. I would think if you went to YouTube, you could find it. We did the whole a whole 1 year series.
Okay.
I mean, 1 year of it, and it's. I played Louise Sorrell's partner, and we owned a little coffee shop. It was kind of fun. You know, she was sort of crazy, and it was fun. And it was written by two women, and Crystal helped them get it going. But I don't know what happened. It stopped. It didn't do the next year. I think they're hoping to get it on again.
Okay, so then right now you're rehearsing for a play. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's called Breathing Under Dirt, and it takes place in the Eastern Shore of Maryland. And I'm Southern in the 1950s, and I'm really bitter. You know, very bitter.
Good role, bitchy. Bitchy's good.
Wow, wonderful.
Bitchy's good.
Bitchy, Ron, you're right.
That's what Tippi Hedren said to me.
Oh boy,
Bitchy is good.
so much more fun.
So where is that going to be playing? Like, is it?
In lower on the Eastern Shore of Maryland means Easton, Annapolis, down in that area. At the it's called the Lower. If anyone wants tickets, lowershorepack.org. And it's 4 guiding light people. Grant Alexander, who was Philip Spaulding, the handsomest person on earth. Michael O'Leary, who wrote it, who played Rick Bauer, me, and Cynthia Watros, who was in Lost with Jim Dale.
Yes.
She's got the starring role. She plays my daughter. It's a mother-daughter play, and it's really interesting.
Sounds good. I hope you bring it to California.
Well, they're talking about it already.
You know, Palm Springs has got wonderful theater now. It's starting to happen. I'm in the middle of bringing something into Palm Springs that was off Broadway. It's called Happy 50ish, which was a great, great musical. And we're going to bring it in.
It's about turning 50.
Yeah,
like
Perry Winkler and I, the producer, we're bringing Lee Winkler's ex-wife. We're bringing it into Palm Springs.
It's actually though it's really cool. Like it was off Broadway and
fabulous.
It's about turning 50. What happens like when you're a man and you turn 50 and
hilarious.
And it's just hilarious, funny. You know, about how like you get up 60 times a night to go to the bathroom and all these like.
But
things.
everything about it, it's truth. It's absolute truth. But the way they do it, it's just brilliant. It's his 50th birthday party, and he's having a party in the backyard, and he and his friend are discussing it. And there's only a 2-character play, but it holds your attention. It's great. It got good reviews.
Is it 1 act?
Yeah.
No, 2 acts.
No, 2 acts. 2 acts. Yeah, 2 acts.
2 acts. It was really good.
But really good.
We enjoyed it a lot. All right, so let's move to. Okay, first of all, I wanted to
ask her the usual standard boring question that I hate, but I'm going to ask it because I'm nosy. I hate these, I hate these interview questions that just stink. But at what age and what was your break? How'd you get in?
I was old. I was probably 24, and I hadn't done anything. And I was married to a writer. He died very young, and he wrote a play called The Labor Party about pregnant women, and I had a little role in it. And Eileen Ford, you know who she is, and a lot of people don't, but she called me the next day and said, would you like to come over and do commercials for us? And I said, sure. And that was the beginning.
I love the way you did that.
Well, because back then commercials paid like $15 or something.
Oh, no. I made a fortune in commercials.
What commercials were you in?
There were none that I wasn't in. I mean, I did Clairol, Maybelline, Colgate.
Okay, there you go.
I also did Windex and eyeliners and eyelashes. I did mommy things, Pampers. They're really stovetop stuffing, Willows.
Yeah, you did the majors, so you were national and you got good bucks.
I did.
And you're gorgeous now, so you must have been ultra magnificent then. Because Clairol, I knew Ina Boltok very well, who was the Clairol model, and she was breathtaking. And you had to be beautiful to be involved with Clairol.
Well, and you had to have someone like Eileen Ford get you in on the audition, you know?
And you look like you have great hair, too, so that's important.
Really good hair, yes.
You know who you remind me of a lot? Not in looks, but in something about you, Lauren Bacall. There's something about you that's so Lauren Bacall, I can't get my hand on it, but...
They used our apartment in New York, where I lived on Park Avenue, for a commercial for her. She came to our apartment because the Dakota was too dark for her. And so they brought her to our apartment, which was all mirrors, of course, and bright light. And she insisted on having champagne in the ice box. I mean, there were a whole bunch of things she insisted on having. I don't remember what it was for. I didn't get to stay while she did it, but they used our apartment. I thought it was hilarious.
She was very interesting. I sat on her lap at a luncheon because there wasn't a chair for me. And she just had a ball with it. Bette she was either way. Either she could kill you or be nice to you. You never knew. She was a time bomb. Prima donna, absolutely. Major motion picture star, absolutely. Treat her with all the Hollywood bullshit, absolutely. A lot of people called her Miss McCall. You couldn't call her Lauren too much because, she wasn't comfortable with that. I loved her. Jimmy knows I loved her because she cursed also. She was a drunk, and when she was drunk, she cursed a lot, and I cursed a lot. And we got along fine, and I was very good friends with Peter Allen, who lived in the building. So I used to get to see her a lot at parties because of Peter. You know who Peter Allen is, everybody?
Sure.
Well, I mean,
the audience is not going to know Peter Allen, but you guys should. He's fabulous.
Peter was wonderful. Drugs and AIDS were anyway terrible.
Hang on, I want to move forward because we've only got a couple of minutes.
Can I just tell you what Lauren Bacall's book was?
Yes.
She said, I wanted it all, I went for it all, and my God, I almost got it all.
There you
Right.
go, absolutely. So here's a question.
She was a Brooklyn down-to-earth broad.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about Venice for a second, but first, before we talk about Venice, so I like to ask this question. Since you've had an opportunity to work with so many cool people, if you could pick anybody in history, in the history and film of movies to act opposite, whether it's a male or female, who's somebody that you wish or you think would be just like an awesome experience if you could have had that opportunity?
Peter O'Toole.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say Genghis Khan. I thought you were going to ask me who I wanted to meet. I would love to have met Genghis Khan.
Okay.
Because he never lost his power. He never lost his power. And as you get older, you begin to lose your power, which to Ron's question earlier. And Genghis Khan managed to keep it his whole life.
I gotta love that. That's
Well,
cool.
I would definitely want to meet my idol, who I wanted to be since I was a little boy, and that's Cary Grant. And Terry Moore, who's dear friends with him, she named her son Grant. What the hell did she name her son? Grant. Grant is her son's name. Terry Moore, after Cary Grant. She said that Cary was very cheap, extremely cheap.
Was his son, by the way?
No.
No.
Believe it.
Good question, though.
No,
Good question.
but believe it or not, Cary Grant was gay or bisexual. He and Randolph Scott did have a great love affair because Mr. Blackwell, my dearest friend in the world, knew Randolph Scott.
Uh-huh.
The designer guy. Blackwell was my buddy. I mean, we like best friends forever. So he told me everything. And Randolph Scott, who they called Randy, was lovers with Cary Grant. And Cary Grant fought the rumor. In fact, he told Terry Moore, I don't know why they keep saying I'm gay. And I said to Terry, well, maybe it's because of all the pictures of him in the pool with Randolph Scott and the nudes in the shower. Have a lot to do with it. But in those days, you couldn't be gay. I don't think you can anymore either. Marlena Dietrich, the Agnes Moorehead, the list goes on of lesbians and homosexuals in theater. And I wanted to bring it out, not to out them and not to discredit them, but to show the world that the people that you loved and admired for so many years were not necessarily your image. They were our image. And that this way people will respect us, because gay people have always been shown men in a men's room attacking a child, which is the most ridiculous thing in the world, or a lesbian, being a hooker. No, we're decent people just like anybody else. So I wanted the image.
Which you can see when you watch Venice, the series.
You really can. I mean, the women in Venice who are lesbians are, doctors, writers. I mean, they have fabulous careers and they're beautiful.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about that for a second.
Yeah, I would too.
Because we've got 4 minutes left. So.
Oh no, I want more.
No, we've got 4 minutes left, and I want to make sure the Venice fans know that we're like
we
plugging
have 15
it off.
minutes.
No, we don't. We end at 10 of 5. We got 5 minutes.
Can't we run over?
No, we can't run over. There's another show coming on after us.
Well, can't they wait?
No. So first of all, do you have any?
I love
Do you have any stories from Venice that you can some kind of fun story? Share us a fun story that the fans won't know about, maybe that they would enjoy.
First, let me just tell you how Crystal, I remember when Guiding Light was going off, and I said to Crystal, what are we going to do? We've got to do something. We can't let our lives end. And a few weeks later, she's walking down the hall at Guiding Light, and she looked at me, she said, do you want to come be on the show I'm going to start? And I said, sure. I mean, she just did what she planned to do. I mean, I sort of felt like a mother to her, I mean, I really do, age-wise, and I feel I'm so proud of what she did. She really just didn't stop, and it's made this incredible show that won 2 Emmys. She's really done it. And everybody just has the most fun. And because she's so easy to be our boss. I mean, she is our boss, but you don't feel that. You feel happy as can be. I stayed with her. She and I and Hillary Brady Smith. Do you know Hillary?
Yes.
Have you met her?
Uh-huh.
Guy, she's so funny. She and I were just in Maine together.
She used to be on As the World Turns, I think.
She was on
Everything.
shows.
Yeah, because I remember her because my mom, she was like with Tom. The guy, the character's name I think was Tom, and they were like low. Anyway, my mom used to watch it, so I knew her from that because I used to watch it.
We have
all
the
time.
largest soap opera list of guests than anybody.
Hang on, keep going. So tell the story.
Well, we were all just there for dinner, this whole weekend. And, Crystal she knows how to get stuff out of people. She knows how to, but she does it so calmly. I mean, she just amazes me. I don't know where, that's not a good.
That's okay. It's good for the fans just to know that she's so wonderful because, like, I have to say, all of you guys, everybody involved with Venice the series, they're all like super generous with the fans that tweet with them, and they really. I mean, it's really nice to see famous people.
The fans. I mean, they come and work there. So you get Lynn. Damn it, Lynn is her thing on Twitter.
Okay.
She drove me around. Mary drove me. They were. And it's so much fun. You really have an hour or two because you're in LA traffic,
right?
Driving to and from. So you get to know the fans that way too, the ones that come and help work for Crystal. Everybody works for Crystal.
It's just fabulous.
Question. Anne Miriam shows her breasts at our age. She's a contemporary of ours, okay? She's got fabulous breasts, and she's proud of them. So she doesn't think anything in a movie like the Roman Stone.
You got 1 minute.
The Roman Stone. Would you, if necessary for a part, show your breasts at our ages?
Probably not. It's my Catholic upbringing, I mean, I had 18 years of Catholic school.
But if it's really important, like the Roman Stone.
It was something that was so wonderful that it would. I mean, I sure did it when I had the first breast cancer storyline, and I'm just going back, and it got people to. I mean, I went online and had a breast removal, and I mean on the show.
Yeah.
Had a mammogram,
Clarify that.
and I didn't think twice about it because I was helping people, with breast cancer. I mean, it really made a difference, and I did do that. You're right, I did it.
What do you think of Miriam doing it in the the Adventures, the Roman, the Piazza of Mrs. Roman Stone? What the hell is the title? I'm getting too confused.
I don't
the
know.
movie.
I don't know.
She
The
did it.
movie's not out yet.
She did it on television years back.
Oh, I don't
Maybe
know.
5, 7 years ago. Something of Vivian Lee played it. Oh, geez, Roman Stone, something.
Well, I have to get back. We're going to have you back
Anyway,
another time, and then
she
we will
did it.
actually be able to continue this conversation.
Oh no,
we got to go. We
You're
don't have
coming
time.
back. You're too good of a guest, and I love you. You're coming back. You're my
Oh,
buddy.
so-
I love you. You're so
So
sweet.
everybody, listen up. If you're in Maryland, go see her play. What's the website again for the play?
lowershorepac.org. It's Lower Shore and then PAC, all one word, .org.
I'll never remember it.
Everybody hears
I know.
Follow
Read
Tina Sloan on
literature.
Twitter, you guys. It's at Tina Sloan. Make sure to watch all the great movies she's been in, and especially watch the first 4 seasons of Venice the series because the 5th
Oh, yeah.
is going to be coming soon. Good.
And I am hilarious in that first season.
I know.
And you are delicious and interesting and beautiful.
You're
and
so gorgeous.
And I'm so proud of
I'm
you.
floating out of this interview, I'll tell you that.
No, listen, I don't blow smoke up anybody's ass. They'll tell you that. I'm very direct. I am so proud of you that you are a contemporary of mine, and you look so wonderful that I'd be
So
so
do you.
proud. Well, I would be so proud to enter a room of 1,000 people with you.
Am I getting that T-shirt? I want one.
We'll get you one. I'll get you one.
Thank you. Thank
We'll
you.
get you one. And I'm going to send you some
Seriously.
audiobook stuff. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, everybody, follow Tina Sloan. We want to thank you so much
Yes.
for coming on the show. We'll definitely be in touch, and we'll tweet every day. So
Yes.
Okay.
It
anytime
was
you
a
need anything,
pleasure,
let us
Tina.
know. Thank you so much,
Bye.
Tina. Have a great weekend.
Bye, dog.
Thank
Stay as wonderful as you are forever.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. She's fantastic.
I love her. She's fabulous, and she's beautiful, and she's charming, and she's...
Okay. And next week,
Shut
you guys,
up,
we
you
got
old man.
two-time Emmy winner Katie McLean coming on, along with Chaz Robinson. It's going to be a great show, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Take care, folks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC. You can't test me. Big up the girl to take the party. Let's get down to crazy Jimmy. Big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
British, I'm your one I wanna be. Jimmy Star's new celebrity.